Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're taking a look at the final reveals for Alliance Insight. This is all of the final TCG exclusives as well as the OCG imports for this set. There's a lot of cool stuff here. There's actually some pretty interesting cards that will have some implications for the future as well as for what's coming even in Alliance Insight. So let's get into it. There's a handful of cards here. Some of these we've seen before, but we just want to go over them because these are the official release here. This is Dawn Angel Camby. Very cute design. Surprised this card was a common because this card's kind of wild. This is a level 1 light fairy, 518 for the stats. If you control no monsters or all monsters you control are fairies, special summon this card from your hand. You contribute this card, you contribute any number of fairy monsters, including this card, as cost to special summon one fairy monster from your deck whose levels equal the total levels of those monsters on the field. So worst case scenario, this card, not even worst case scenario, but I think best case scenario is we get an archetype in the future that has a really good level 1 fairy monster that the deck runs through. The deck does lock, this card does lock you into fairies, so you need to keep that in mind. But if you run into a deck in the future that's pretty good and has a level 1 fairy that's a very good engine card, this card becomes crazy. Doesn't take your normal summon, and then it lone fires for that card. Lone Fire was always brutal when Ash Blossom came around just because of how hard it got punished, taking your normal summon and then losing the body to Ash Blossom. But because this card doesn't take your normal, it's so clean in that regard. So all it takes is one archetype into the future, and this card will shoot to the moon. I don't know if we have an archetype right now that makes perfect sense. There are a couple targets that are interesting, but they're in decks that don't want to be hard locked into fairies for the rest of the turn. So just got to keep that in mind. But very, very interesting card that could come up into the future. Next up, we have Hrimnir, the Divine Follower. This is a level 9 light fairy, 22/22 for the stats. You contribute 3 fairy monsters from your hand and or field as cost. Set 1 continuous spell from your deck, but send it to the graveyard during your opponent's end phase. If this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. So each effect's hard on its return. This card's fine to me. I don't think it's that impressive. I think the fact that it has to tribute 3 fairies is kind of tough. Not that this card should be getting negated in most cases, because you contribute itself as one of the fairies you tribute, and it shouldn't be on field. So and it sets, it doesn't add, so can't be ashed, can't be impermveilered. But it can be omni negated, and you probably just lose if this ever gets omnied. It's fine. I mean, I don't know what continuous spell is that good that you would want to give up 3 fairy bodies for, but this card's fine. I guess also it's just not the worst thing in the world, even as an extender. If you can play this in a deck where you use it as a simple extender where I'm just sending it and it's reborning itself for free, and using it from there, I guess it could have some application. But this card is just fine to me. It's not overly impressive. And then we get Vingolf's Blessing for the final fairy support card. This card's actually pretty good as well. Continuous spell. When this card is activated, send a light fairy monster from your deck to the grave. It's only light fairies, but man, all it takes is one archetype that has good graveyard light fairies. Down the line, I could see something like what are they called? Oh my gosh, what are the agents? I could see an archetype like the agents getting support in the future with good graveyard synergy, and this card being really good in there. Also, all fairy monsters you control gain 100 attack for every fairy on your field and graveyard. That actually can stack up very quickly. That's a solid bonus effect. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a level 4 lower fairy and grave, special summon it. So again, bonus effects on bonus effects, which is really solid. So this card's actually quite good overall. So again, kind of goes right in line with Camby. I don't know if it has a perfect home just yet, but down into the future with good fairy cards, we could actually see both of these cards flourish. Next up here, we have Aspish School. This is a fish monster. It's a level 4 water fish, 300 for the stats. On normal summon, you can special summon a level 6 or lower fish from hand in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card is banished, you can special summon this card in defense position. This card is so fine. I guess it's supposed to be kind of more support for Goatee, doesn't mind being banished, can banish something that it summons, which then triggers them. So actually could actually be okay in Goatee, but Goatee's just a weird archetype at this point. I don't really know what to make of it, but this card I guess doesn't hurt. I just don't know if it's good enough to all the way help. Next up here, we have Toxic Boxfish. I love the artwork on this one. The artwork on this thing is so cool. It's a level 4 Waterfish Synchro, low level Synchro, which is cool. 18,800 for the stats, totally generic, which is also kind of nice. If this card Synchro summon, target one card in either graveyard, banish it. Not too shabby. Little SP Little Knight type effect, but only graveyard, but that's still pretty decent in certain scenarios. If this card is banished, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. This card is just solid in Goatee as well, right? You can make this to banish one of your own monsters to trigger them, or you can hit your opponent's graveyard, and then if you have a way to like quick effect banish this on your opponent's turn, you can get a bonus negate out of it. So this card's actually decent. I don't know if the levels match up for Goatee, but this card definitely has some cool synergy there. And then Fish and Bids. This is the last fish card, I believe, here. This is a normal spell. During the start of your main phase 1, you can banish 1 card from your hand as cost. Your opponent can banish 2 cards from their hand if they want to. If they don't, you apply this effect. So basically, they can basically hand rip themselves for 2 cards to negate this card. Otherwise, you resolve it. So it's kind of win-win for you. This is 1 card that either rips 2 from your opponent, or it's going to resolve, which takes 2 fish monsters from your deck and either banish both or send both to the graveyard, and then it's going to lock you into fish again in something like Goatee. That's totally fine. We play pretty pure under fish in Goatee, so that you should have some decent options there. I think this is totally a potential 3 of in Goatee, just to go for the hand rip effect. The only downside on this card I can see is going second if your opponent doesn't even have 2 cards. I guess if they don't have 2 cards in hand, you do just resolve it. So maybe it is just win-win either way. Yeah, I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. I don't love having cards that just give your opponent the option for what they think is better for them, but these might be just both negatives enough, or I guess resolving is a big enough positive for you, and ripping 2 is a big enough negative for your opponent that it may just still be worth playing at a 3 in the deck, but we'll see. This card I think has really cool implications. Replicard LAD. This is a new cyberse monster that has really good synergy with Regenesis. So it's a level 7 Dark Cyberse, 25/25. That's perfect for Regenesis. You can banish any level 7 or higher monster from your hand as cost to special summon this card from the hand. That's all the Regenesis is. That's Kashtira's in that deck and even other stuff. You can target 1 face-up monster you control as cost. That can be itself, which is very important. Special summon 1 monster from your deck with a different name that has 2 or more of the same level, attack, and/or attribute or defense. Sorry, but cannot activate its effects this turn. You can only use each effect once per turn. This card's really solid in that deck. It has some really cool implications. I don't love that you lose the card in hand. That's kind of unfortunate. Like the other Regenesis monster that kind of works similarly to this. I think it's Archfiend. He only has to reveal a monster in hand to pull himself out of the hand, and then he searches. This card has to banish it. So you do lose the card in hand. So it's sort of like a neg 1 to summon, but then you kind of get the 1 back by summoning from deck. But that's a lot easier to interact with. You're summoning from deck, so it's ashable, it's impermeable. But it does put a 25 on field regardless, even if you have to neg 1 to do it and maybe bait a hand trap in the process. It could easily still see play in the deck. I'm just not sure. Any builds I've seen from the OCG, this card didn't exist for them, so I don't even know if they would think it's worth playing. But it's definitely a card to consider for Regenesis. Sakra Vender is our next card. It's a rank 4, generic rank 4, Dark Psychic, 2025 for the stats. You can detach 1 material from this card to take a level/rank 4 psychic monster from grave, special summon it. And then if a monster is summoned while this card is in your monster zone, you can target 1 other face-up monster on the field. That monster's name becomes Sakra Vender until the end phase. I think I had heard that some people had mentioned that this should have synergy with the new Heraldic Beast stuff. Outside of this is a very unique effect. I like that it just kind of does get you a bonus body on field to just keep working with. I don't know enough about Heraldic Beast to know, but like it's a very interesting effect, changing a monster's name on field. I don't know how useful that can be, but still pretty cool, and a pretty cool design in the artwork as well. And our final card here is a new trap card called Tiki Piece. This is a continuous trap. I like this card as well. It's fun. So this is settable off of like Silhouette Rabbit and stuff like that. Special summon this card as an effect monster. It's a rock, level 4 earth, 18/18. It also still remains a trap after being summoned. Quick effect, pay 800 life points as cost to special summon a continuous trap, except for another copy of itself from your grave or banish as a normal monster, and it becomes Tiki Piece, even while face down. That card is not treated as a trap. This card's so fine. To be honest, this card is not that great. You already have to get a continuous trap like in grave or banished in rotation for this card to even extend you. And then what does it even do at that point? I get it if you can get something cool that actually does like get as a rune back as a, you know, as a monster and go from there. Like it's cool, but like I don't even know if that works because it summons as a normal monster. So I don't even think it works in that case. So it's just awkward. It's an awkward card to me. It gets bodies on the field, I guess, but on the opponent's turn and slow like that, it's just not good enough. All right, and then for the imports here, some stuff we've seen in the OCG already. We have the vanilla that existed for them. Some of their decks with the Primite stuff would play it because this is a Light Fiend. We do already have a Light Fiend in the Dust on monster, so this isn't that different. I don't know if you'd play this over that, but like it's another option there. That makes it interesting. Giant Crackhorn. This is the plant support monster. I think it was a promo of some sort, or maybe from like one of those weird mini side sets. It's not very good though, from what I remember. Migratory Zeraort. This card I know was not very good. It's kind of like a wing beast, like a level 5 support card. And then Dragolethia Kunzite. This is a level 8 dragon monster. This card supports vanilla dragons, I believe. Level 7 or higher normal dragons, which is kind of interesting. You know, Blue Eyes kind of been taken off. I don't know if this card's actually good enough to like fully lean into it and like Blue Eyes or Red Eyes or something like that. But I remember the card being so okay. From what I remember on this card, it had 2 effects that were decent, but you couldn't use both in the same turn. So I was like, if you could use both in the same turn, this card's kind of interesting. You can't though, so the power ceiling on it is severely capped there. So I think we'll probably leave it alone for right now. But yeah, those are your imports there. Those are the rest of our exclusives for I believe for the entire set, since the whole set has been open now. Revealing some pretty cool cards. I think between like Dawn Angel Canby, Vingolf's Blessing, I would throw Toxic Boxfish, Fish and Bids in there for like cool fish support. And then Replicard LAD. There's actually some quite interesting stuff here. Even you could throw Sakra Vender in there. I just don't know all the applications. There's actually some very interesting TCG exclusives for this set. So hopefully they have a little bit of splash at some point down the line, especially the fairy cards. I could easily see they have so much potential in the main deck. We'll see if that culminates in something with like a brand new fairy archetype throughout the rest of the year. Konami likes to do that stuff sometimes, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel for more news updates from me. That should be everything for Alliance Insight. We still have a couple other sets coming in the next couple of months that we should be keeping up with news as we go, and I'll obviously get that stuff posted for you. So subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News-wise, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more. Peace.